On this week's episode of BJ in the Morning, we're going to talk about a little show called What If? Let's go. Welcome to BJ in the Morning. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And we're talking about What If today.
We're talking about What If.
There's a lot of really great stuff in the What If series compared to a lot of the other Marvel shows that we've been getting lately. So it was kind of like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And I liked a lot about this show. So I'm excited to talk about it today. I know we're not jumping right into it.
Right in.
But yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, man. So how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, man.
Just chilling.
Just chilling?
Getting ready to get the H out of here.
You make it sound like it's a positive thing.
No, it's not.
Getting ready to get the H out of here.
Yeah, get the H out of here. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then you don't need to know. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're saying. But Juan, this is like episode 54, I think, 55, somewhere around there. So we were definitely past the 1 full year of making episodes, and it's just I just want to bring it up one more time that we're really just excited to be here and excited to continue to bring content to whoever's out there listening. So
for at least one more year.
We're gonna get to 125 episodes and then just.
So if you like what you hear, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button wherever. I think right here.
Don't make me put it in places I don't remember.
No, I'm saying like where like.
Oh, if you're watching on YouTube,
I think it's gonna be right here.
That sounds right.
And then you're gonna hit that bell. It's gonna be right over here. And then drop it down in the comments. Which episode is your favorite?
Of our show or of What If?
Of our show.
Okay.
Of What If.
We'll do the other
or either.
We'll do the other call to action at the end. But Juan, I want to just bring up, because we spent the last 2 hours doing some dumb stuff, and I want to bring it up formally on the podcast because I think we've posted about it already. Yeah. Because we just posted about it right before this episode.
Right.
Recording, not putting the episode out.
Right.
But we decided to take the plunge, and we got a VR headset for the podcast for more content. Because that's one of our goals this year is to produce more content than just the podcast.
It's a New Year's resolution of ours. Instead of
just 3 extra videos.
Yeah.
So if you haven't checked it out, there's a little clip of Juan freaking the F out. And I'm still mad that we didn't get the shot of me freaking out before it even got scary.
I was trying, but you freaked out before I even got my phone.
It was too quick, dude. As soon as I saw the spiders come out of the walls, I was done.
So go check that video out on TikTok at BJ in the Morning Podcast or on Instagram.
It'll be on there.
BJ in the Morning
by the time this episode comes.
Oh, TikTok at BJ in the Morning _. At Instagram, BJ in the Morning _
And it should be on YouTube.
It should be on YouTube at BJ in the Morning Podcast, which you should know if you are currently watching it on YouTube.
We're really just driving the point home that you should be on all of our socials. But if there's any VR games that you think would be really funny to watch us play, let us know.
Let it snow.
Let it snow. We've been having a lot of fun with it, just messing around, trying to figure out just exactly what we're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Because I think right now I've been mostly using it to just watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And then extending my laptop screen when I'm editing our videos.
Which is really cool.
It's dumb. I feel like Iron Man when I play with it, man. You're just holding nothing, just air and just moving tablets around in the space. But yeah, no, I just wanted to bring it up formally because we haven't talked about it on any of the episodes. But yeah, we're going to be messing around with that kind of content. Maybe we'll even get it onto Twitch eventually because we keep talking about it and we haven't done it yet.
One day
soon. Yeah, someday. But
anyways, but
today
we're talking about what if Season 2.
Season 2 just dropped. I liked how they released it. One episode a day for 6 days.
It gave me something to look forward to, like, as soon as I got home.
Right.
And instead of having to wait a whole week,
mm-hmm.
and then it extends it to, like, what? Like a month?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Longer. 9 weeks?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Was it 9 episodes or 6 episodes?
This one was
I think they're
9.
Okay.
I can tell you exactly.
Yeah, you have it pulled up. I don't. You told me to put my phone away.
This one was 9 episodes.
Okay, so 9 days straight. They put out. I think they released the first 2 the first day, but anyways.
And season 1 was also 9
mm-hmm.
episodes.
So yeah, I do remember season 1. I only watched it the once, and I've only watched season 2 the one time so far.
Mm-hmm.
I have revisited episodes from the first season, but I liked a majority of them. I think they were all pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't think there was any that I didn't like on
mm-hmm.
season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was cohesive, and you know, the last episode really brought everything together, which was great.
And we didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Because they were like hyping this up as a standalone. Every episode's just its own contained story.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have any connections, anything like that. And then they were like, it's like
psych,
connected.
Guess what? Connected.
And I think this one had that feel too. Like most of the stories just didn't feel connected for a bit
mm-hmm.
until like Kahori's story, I think.
Uh-huh.
And then they all started coming together.
Right.
So, but why don't we break it down episode by episode?
Yeah.
And just we'll give our little opinions on it.
Break it down.
We'll talk about like the implications and the. Are you still breaking it down? This just reminds me of the New Year's resolution for 2023 that you wanted to get better at beatboxing. So.
Didn't work.
It didn't work.
Didn't happen.
But yeah, why don't we start at episode 1?
Episode 1 of season 2.
Season 2 of What If.
Of What If is what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps?
The Nova Corps.
It says Nova Corps.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled, but you don't pronounce the P.
Corpse.
Corpse?
Corpse.
Corpse. Like
Corpse.
a body.
What if Nebula joined the Nova Corps?
The Nova Corps.
Corpse.
Okay, anyways. I personally didn't think this was the best opening episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved the episode. Like, I thought it was really good. It was a really cool, like, almost noir type detective story.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like it wasn't a good, like, first episode of the season.
Yeah.
I think they could have probably chose a different one. But I did enjoy seeing Howard the Duck a little bit more.
Yeah, seeing him as an actual character instead of a cameo.
Yeah. And Seth Green's great as the voice of Howard the Duck.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked, you and I don't know if we've talked about on the podcast about like Howard the Duck and just how it's just a weird character from Marvel that they're like trying to bring back.
I think for that, I think originally Howard the Duck wasn't supposed to be a character taken very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was one maybe for the kids. Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Because he's kind of dirty.
Yeah, he's on the
verge of, I don't know if he's
like
dirty in the comics.
I've never read a Howard the Duck comic. I've seen the movie.
Neither have I. Which is dirty.
The movie's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know a lot about the Howard the Duck character other than the movie and then this new version that they're going with.
Yeah.
And he still drinks and smokes and like gambles. He owns a casino in this, right? Or like I think it's a casino or a gambling den. But he's a criminal. I think he's along the lines for me, like when you think about Howard the Duck, like a Deadpool-esque type of silly, foul-mouthed. Literally, he's a foul. You get it?
Yeah.
Foul, like birds.
Got it.
Got it. And then I still love Korg as a character, and it was really cool to just see him not in the setting of Thor.
Yeah.
So yeah, first episode for me, I liked it. I just don't think it should have been the first episode.
Right. I agree. And I think one of the things that really rubbed me the wrong way is like how Nebula, when she figured it out, it's like she knew the whole time, which is like, really though?
Yeah.
You know, like, you're going to take that route? Because we just saw her get her ass handed to her and kind of like, you know, accept defeat in a way. But then, the whole time she knew that the captain or whoever it was
Nova Prime.
Yeah, Nova Prime was a part of it. Okay.
I also really liked that Jude Law came back. I thought that was really interesting. My biggest problem is he didn't seem like the same character as in the movie.
Right.
And this is an ongoing problem with a couple episodes in this show for me. And I don't know if it's like on purpose how distant they are from like the source material. But again, from the perspective of this is just this, it's the universe where different choices were made. They just branched. Some of the characters seem too disconnected from the originals that they're branching from. So,
yeah.
But his character did seem like a curveball, you know, like they changed his personality type a little bit. 'Cause he was more like dark and like an asshole in the Captain Marvel, you know.
He was more like an actual criminal rather than
a Han Solo type.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
a anti-hero type of deal. But yeah.
But on a scale of like 1 to 10 for this episode, I think I still would give it like a 7. 'Cause it was a really cool episode. Like it felt cool.
And I love how Nebula got the Yondu's jacket and his
and
his mohawk.
That's a really cool dynamic because like who has it in the movie? What's his name? I can't remember it right now. Kraglin. Kraglin has it right now, and Kraglin's kind of not. I mean, he's kind of cool. They kind of gave him a redemption in the third one, right?
Yeah.
But like Nebula with that shit, like done.
Badass.
You're done.
Give it up.
But yeah, I would say it's a solid like 7, 6.5, 7 for me. What about you?
I would say about a 7.
Yeah.
As well.
I love the film noir like tropes, and it had the narration and all that kind of stuff. And I thought it was a great episode. Again, shouldn't have been episode 1.
Right. So the next episode in What If Season 2, Episode 2, is What If Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes?
So this is Peter Quill was delivered to his father, Ego. And it didn't seem like it was that much time between when he was delivered and when he attacked Earth.
Yeah, he looked the same age, and he seemed... I mean, it really wasn't that much time because this was set in, like, the 70s, right?
I think so. Yeah, because he had all the young, like, versions of the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Like, Hank Pym and who else was there?
The Winter Soldier was there. The Winter Soldier.
Weird. You know? Peggy was there. She was there, but not fighting, right? She was older.
She was not Captain Carter.
Not Captain Carter in this one, right?
Was it Peggy?
I'm
pretty sure there was a female character. It was Peggy, right?
This episode was
Ant-Man, Hank Pym,
Giant Man,
Thor, Giant Man,
Lawrence Fishburne.
That was Giant Man?
Right, in the movie he was too, right?
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
In Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, I can't really think right now.
Morpheus.
Right. Yeah, I think Peggy Carter was there, but she wasn't Captain Carter.
I'm gonna be honest with this episode. It wasn't one of my favorites. It's kind of, look at us, we're forgetting it real time right now in front of people.
Yeah.
They're
in front of people
because Hope is in it. Hope Van Dyne.
As a kid,
and she like befriends Peter and like tries to save him. And like I just really didn't vibe with the episode. It was cool seeing like all the the people that are older in the current movies, like as younger, heroes, and actually doing the things that they kind of talked about. But it just wasn't a memorable episode for me.
Yeah. I like how they brought back the Hulk tank for Peter Quill. Like, that would stop him.
Yeah.
Though. I feel like it wouldn't stop him.
I really couldn't tell you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
His powers haven't really been super defined anywhere. They kind of went that path in Guardians Volume 2. Did they do any of that in Volume 3? You know what I mean? They didn't really touch on the...
They didn't touch on what he can do at all.
Yeah.
Actually. And it's strange because he had all those powers all of a sudden when he was on Ego, with Ego, fighting Ego. But now it's like he can't tap into that anymore.
No.
Like he couldn't have used it in
nope.
anything else.
Nope. And then this episode takes away the only theory that I would have had, which was he's not on the planet, so he doesn't have the powers.
Yeah, but
he's got all the powers on Earth when he comes back looking for his mom. But the only thing that is different from this and the movie is that Peter was delivered to Ego, and then he comes back, looks for his mom, and then he finds out, oh, you killed my mom. I'm mad at you again. You know?
Yeah.
And then we kind of just lead to the same place, except he's not going to become a guardian of the galaxy. He's probably going to become like a pseudo Avenger now, you know?
Yeah.
So, again, this episode had some cool like action sequences, but overall, it's kind of not so memorable to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give this one probably a 4.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 4.
Scale of 1 to 10.
4 or 5, because it's not horrible. It's just not memorable.
It also didn't get me like excited. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, what's gonna happen?
I just
next?
remember saying, "Oh, I guess I'm ready for bed" when it was over.
Yeah.
What's
Anyway,
the next one on the list?
The next one is episode 3 in What If Season 2 is What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas?
What if Die Hard took place at Stark Tower?
Yes.
And there was Hulk blood involved.
Yes.
That's what this episode was.
Yes.
Did Jon Favreau voice Happy in this series? Do you know? Because it didn't sound like him ever.
I can look it up.
That was one of the biggest things that kind of took me out of it. Was his voice just didn't sound like Happy Hogan that we're used to. I did like all the Avengers like kind of chilling, and the Thor showing up at the very end was really funny.
Yeah.
But I liked Happy getting his own story. I thought that was really fun. And Ultron coming back is really, really something extra special because I love Ultron as a villain. So it was like cool seeing him come back.
And it was Jon Favreau.
It was? It does not sound like him at all.
Yeah, you got all the original characters coming back. So Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan. Kat Dennings as Darcy.
Yeah, and Darcy, I love Darcy. She's one of those characters from the Thor movies that I don't mind when she pops up everywhere.
Yeah. Colby Smulders as Maria Hill. Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer.
Yeah, and that was unexpected. Like really unexpected.
Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton.
I hate when I can't get through an episode without sneezing. Like I feel like it doesn't happen a lot, but it feels like it happens a lot.
Tony Stark was actually someone named Mick Wingert. It was not RDJ.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Black Widow was Lake Bell.
Okay.
And Steve Rogers was Josh Keaton. So like
the main
all Yeah, the big three.
The ones that are out of their contract as of right now. Yeah.
The big three.
But I do think the voices of most of them didn't affect me. I knew I knew Tony Stark wasn't Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
The Black Widow one's surprising because it does. Whoever did the voice sounds like Scarlett Johansson.
You sound great.
But Happy Hogan didn't sound like Happy Hogan. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't sound like Jon Favreau. But I liked the idea of this one, the Christmas party and everything like that. I think it was very, very fun. And I've said that word a lot for this episode.
It came out on Christmas. Christmas Eve.
But I think we both have like a weird problem with this episode, and that's Happy Hogan becoming a Hulk. Mm-hmm. Hulk Hogan.
Wow. Wow. Hulk Hogan, brother. I'm surprised they didn't do that.
I don't think they could. I don't think they got the right.
Brother.
But I also hope we're the first people to make that joke. Doubtful, but I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he looked too much like Thanos.
Uh-huh.
And he looked
it was purple.
Scary.
Yeah.
Like he should be a villain.
Yeah.
Like a mutant, like not a Marvel mutant, like a Fallout mutant, like someone who was grown in a lab, which, yes, I get it. That's what the Hulk is.
Like
but
someone who was mutated.
Yeah.
Mutant.
Yeah, mutilated mutations. You know, he looks gross.
Yeah.
His eyes are all bulging out and everything. I don't know.
He's got his veins just like all weird.
Yeah, he just looks like he was suffocating the whole time. He's super purple.
Yeah.
Why didn't they pick another color?
Yeah.
Like, what about Happy Hogan says purple?
Right.
I don't know. That's just where I'm at. But him getting the Hulk powers was kind of weird.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
It was strange. It was fun, like you said. Very fun. The comedic relief was still there.
Yep.
I feel like it was a little too much at some points. Mm-hmm. But
it is a cartoon, so it's like it's an animation.
So I didn't have a problem with this episode until a later episode, and we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah.
And if you know, you know. If you don't, you'll find out in about 20 minutes.
But also, why are you listening / watching on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and everything? If you haven't seen the episodes,
right? Spoiler warning.
Unless you don't plan
Spoiler warning.
Unless you don't plan on watching any of them, that's fine too. But let's go on.
Spoiler warning.
I'd say this one is a solid 5 for me. On a scale of 10, because it's not amazing, it's not horrible. It is better than the last one for me. It is more memorable. It had a lot of funny moments. The humor was good. The action was good. I'd still remember there was the one shot where Hulk Hogan is smashing dudes left and right, and it was just exactly the shot from Avengers with the Hulk and Loki, you know?
Yeah.
So I think they could have done more with this episode, but overall, it was an enjoyable.
Yeah, I think I would give it a 5 as well. I kind of almost want to rate it lower. But because we rated the other one a 4, I'd have to. It is better than that episode. Yeah. So on this next episode, we might. Well, we'll talk about it. But the next episode, episode 4 of What If Season 2, is what if Iron Man crashed into the Grand Master? Now, this one ain't it for me.
No?
No.
Tell me why.
Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache.
No, but for real, tell me why.
Honestly, dude, this one started out swinging. It came out swinging. It was good. It was solid. I don't know. Like, I don't love the Grandmaster as a character.
Yeah.
And I felt like this episode got really dry in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to restart it 3 times because I fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
3 times.
Gotcha.
2 times.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said, I personally don't think it's one of my faves.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I knew this one wasn't going to be one of your favorites just because it's the Grandmaster.
Yeah.
Because I know how you feel about like humor and everything in the Marvel universe, like when they do too much, when they do too little. And the Grandmaster is humor.
It's too much.
But I, as someone who is a huge fan of Jeff Goldblum, enjoy the Grandmaster to an extent.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum is great.
Yeah.
And he does a great job.
It's just not the character for you.
Yeah.
So, my opinion on this episode, it was fun. Like, it was a really, like, action-packed episode most of the time. The parts where there weren't, like, fights or the races or anything like that, couldn't tell you what happened.
Yeah.
You know? The melty stick was fun. Like, it came back, you know?
Yeah.
My biggest issue is that I don't think Tony Stark was that much in his hero moment during this time frame. Because this happens right after the events of Avengers, where he takes the nuke into space.
And he doesn't come back.
He doesn't come back. He doesn't have his arc where he like gets PTSD and has to like overcome it. He doesn't realize that like Pepper's more important than Iron Man. At that point, he is still struggling with being Iron Man. Thanos is coming, dealing with the problems of that. So that was my biggest problem with this episode, is that he immediately went to Tony Stark in Endgame and Infinity War, you know, where he's like, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to save this planet from the Grandmaster. Cool. He probably would do that, just not right after Avengers.
Yeah.
He would just want to go home because he's still in his selfish, like, he's getting there.
Yeah.
But he's not there yet. I thought the idea of chariot races were really like a interesting idea. I thought the race sequences were really sick. The races themselves were really cool.
They were cool.
Didn't like Valkyrie.
I was expecting the gladiator
chariots.
No, I was thinking like the gladiator fight scene also.
Like the one from the movie.
From Ragnarok, yeah. But I thought like, okay, they do the race and then they're going to do some fight scenes in the middle. And then, you know, like I think a good way of doing it would have been race, fight scene, Tony Stark wins, and that's when he challenges the Grandmaster. Grandmaster picks another race.
Yeah.
Boom. Action. All the way through.
That would make sense.
I think that would have been a lot better. And you didn't have to do the Hulk. Obviously, Hulk is not there. It could have been Cork.
Yeah, because he was a champion at one point, right?
Yeah.
So.
Could have been anything. Just as long as Iron Man wins and is able to challenge the Grandmaster.
Yeah.
And how the frick does the Grandmaster never die?
Yeah. I don't.
He got melted.
He's an alien.
Sure. But there's lots of aliens that get melted by that melting stick.
True.
The best part of the whole movie was when Tony Stark's armor turns into a car.
Yeah.
That was pretty sick.
Because it like reminded you of like Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Where he's got like the suitcase at the track. And I think that's probably where this whole idea for this episode came from, was how can we redeem Iron Man 2 a little bit.
Yeah. And it shows that Tony Stark is still Tony Stark, where he can tinker around and build a suit, which we haven't seen again.
I mean, we saw like the outcome, right? Like anytime Tony Stark has a problem, he fixes it. If someone defeats his armor in one way, he's going to make sure that it never gets destroyed in that way again.
We saw that subtly.
Yeah, so like the nano suit is like the end one, right? Like the nanotech one, where it can just heal itself or like become everything that he's needed over the years. He's not there yet.
Well, I'm talking about like, okay,
You mean
Iron
like
Man
the cave
1,
scene?
he tinkered around,
Yeah.
he built a suit. Iron Man 3, his suit broke down. He was
He's
in
in
a garage.
Yeah.
He figured out how to.
That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant the other thing.
No.
Where it's like he messes with stuff to make sure the problems don't come back.
No, I meant like the old school, like, hey.
Brant.
Yeah, let me find stuff to stink.
And then him yelling at what's the robot name? What, Dummy, right?
Yeah.
With the little arm.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked this episode because it kind of reminded me like pod racing and like Star Wars.
Yeah.
For most of it, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would give this episode maybe a 4.
Yeah, that low for you?
Yeah. I didn't love it, dude.
I think that's okay. I had a lot of fun with this episode. I thought it was really lighthearted. It was a good animated show.
Right.
It also reminded me a lot of like that race in Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun too. But it is not a perfect episode because I really didn't like Valkyrie's character in this.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It took so much convincing in Ragnarok for her to flip, but not in this show.
I also wasn't convinced that was Valkyrie.
Yeah.
I had to like be like, is that Valkyrie?
Is it really?
Like, you know it's her.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, is that? Oh, and then you see her drinking. I'm like,
It
that's Valkyrie.
It was Valkyrie. But for me, I think it's a 6. Again, not a perfect episode, but it was a turning point because I think that some of the episodes after this one were bangers.
Yeah.
Like, what's the next episode?
Episode 5
Mm-hmm.
of What If Season 2
Mm-hmm.
is, what if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper?
Okay. And who's the Hydra Stomper?
Steve Rogers.
So it's basically like everything got flipped.
Mm-hmm.
So Bucky did not get captured. He did not fall off at the end of the line.
Mm-hmm. And he's the Shield,
like
head of Shield.
Yeah. So basically, like what Peggy became in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky's that, and then Peggy's Captain Carter.
Uh-huh.
And then Steve got captured by the Russians,
Mm-hmm.
turned into the Hydra Stomper. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This episode was kind of wild.
So this is pretty much a continuation off of What If Season 1 after Peggy fought with the Watcher.
Kinda.
Mm-hmm. No, it is, because they explained that Peggy fought in the first Season 1, Episode 1, and then she went and fought with the Peeps, and then she went back to her time, which was in, 2017?
Yeah.
2015, whatever it was.
Whenever the Winter Soldier was taking place in the regular timeline. Because this one goes to the ship.
Well, then she goes back and then she does Avengers. And she does all those other movies that we've seen in the last 10 years.
Yeah. But with
up
Peggy.
until Winter Soldier.
The Winter's Shoulder.
The Winter Shoulder.
The Winter.
And in this one, makes
Sorry,
sense.
it just made me think of Winter's Bone. Do you remember that?
No.
I'm going to show... As soon as I show you the video, and don't let me forget this time, I will show you the video after this.
The Winter's Bone.
Winter's Bone.
Okay.
You'll remember as soon as I show it to you.
Okay.
Anyone out there who remembers Winter's Bone, anyways.
Drop it down in the comments.
Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it makes sense that Peggy is like BFFs with the Black Widow. Right. Like, I feel like that would happen if this is what we knew, you know?
Yeah, because Black Widow's kind of outcasted in like the first handful of movies she's in. You know, she only really gets along with one person, Clint. Right? And then it randomly she's cool with the Hulk now. Not Bruce, the Hulk.
The Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, I liked that we revisited those moments, you know? I think it was really there's part of me that's like, why wasn't this so messy like it was in in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot more went wrong with Steve than with Peggy. There's more organization there. And also I don't think Black Widow had a secret agenda in this one that she did in the other one, but she knew that Steve was on the ship. That's a little weird.
But also, it wasn't that hard to break through to Steve.
Like it was
for Bucky. For Steve to break through to Bucky.
Right. But I will say, the fight scene with the Hydra Stomper on the ship, like it's flying around and they're trying to take it down, is really cool.
Yeah.
Really action packed. This one felt almost like an anime episode to me at times, especially when we get off the ship into the mainland when they go to Russia, right? They go to Russia because they're now looking for the Red Room.
The Red Room.
Which, again, weird.
So it's like the Black Widow movie and the Winter Soldier movie combined.
Yeah. And those happened relatively close in the regular timeline, right?
The Black Widow movie came after Infinity War. Like, was set after Infinity War.
Okay. Was it?
Or...
No, it's before.
No, before...
Because...
During...
I don't remember. It's such a weird place because that movie came out in a weird time, you know? How many times have you watched Black Widow?
Once.
Same. I didn't hate it. I just haven't watched it since.
I had this timeline down, and I know. I can't remember.
But it's because that movie came out in 2020, you know? But when they get to Russia and they get to the old KGB base that's modeled after like the U.S., that whole scene, that whole
Civil War.
After there we go.
Civil War.
Okay. The Cold War. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But when they get to that town that's modeled after like the U.S., that whole sequence is kind of scary.
It's creepy.
It's creepy. Like not scary, but it's creepy because all the mannequins throughout the place are rigged up. They're like robots, and they shoot widow's bites. You know. And I liked all the heartfelt moments between like Peggy and Steve. And then psych, he's not actually broken out of his brainwashing. Ha ha. Ha ha. And then who comes down?
Ramon? No.
Natasha Romanoff's mom.
What's her name?
I don't remember. One time. Watch Black Widow one time.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
And then there's a whole fight. All these things happen. They get captured. What happens after that? I don't remember until the very end.
Steve blows up the ship.
Yeah, nothing after that part I remember until the very end.
Steve blows up the ship. Peggy's not happy, but she's happy she doesn't have to deal with the Russians no more.
Except for Black Widow.
Right. I think almost immediately after they go into the very end that scene. Thinking about.
Yeah, and when you watch it, you're like, I don't know what the heck that what was that? You know, like what's going on here? But basically, Natasha and Peggy are saying bye to each other. They're off to do their own thing for a bit, and then Peggy gets sucked into the crack in the floor.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Crazy.
It's pink, right?
No, they show you more.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah,
but
they show you what's on the other end.
Yeah, so she falls into 1602. And with the other Avengers.
Well, we don't know it's 1602 at this point.
Right.
So what we see is
Victorian era outfits.
Wanda, Thor, and Nick Fury.
Yeah. And then it cuts. And then it's done, right? Yeah. That's it.
But that's them pushing us forward. This is them pushing us into, this is where we are combining. This is what you have to look forward to.
Right. That was the little sprinkle.
No.
And that's just going back to the whole ordeal with Marvel right now. Like, that's what they're struggling with is the sprinkle. You know? There was nothing else saying that these episodes were a part of one story until episode 5?
Yeah, but Marvel is, let's say, throughout all of the MCU, they're sprinkling.
They're just sprinkling too much.
They're sprinkling like crazy.
Yeah.
Onto the table.
Yeah.
You know
they're
what I'm
missing
saying?
the plate.
They're not even sprinkling onto the ice cream sundae.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the reward?
Yeah.
For the sprinkles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I spilled it on the table. Now I gotta clean it up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wipe it on the floor.
Even a bigger mess.
I'll wipe it on the floor. Yeah.
Now I have to clean up the floor.
But the sprinkle in this, it works.
Just one.
Bink. Just one little salt chunk.
Bink.
But then, how did you feel about this episode as a whole?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I felt like Steve Rogers was won over a little too easily. Mm-hmm. And then guess what? He's not. But he was though.
But also,
I feel like he was, but he was.
It's the same thing with Bucky.
The Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's the same
they
thing.
They have their 9 words. They just kind of whisper in his ear. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But on a scale of 1 to 10 for this episode, I think for me it's a 7. It's a pretty solid episode. I really like Agent Carter or Captain Carter. Agent Carter was the show.
Carter.
Captain Carter. The dynamics between her and Black Widow are solid. Mm-hmm. You can feel the heart and the emotion when she talks to Steve, and I think that's hard to do in cartoons sometimes unless you're Pixar. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I mean? But I guess Disney adjacent, whatever. But yeah, I think it's a solid 7. Things pick up from here for me. Mm-hmm. So, and then there's one episode that fucking dips, but we're 40 minutes into this episode, so yeah, 7 for me.
I give it a 7 as well.
What's next on the list, Juan?
Next one on the list is episode 6 of What If, season 2. Mm-hmm. What if Kahori reshaped the world?
I want to talk about this episode so much because I think it was my favorite episode in the season. Mm-hmm. I love Kahori. I think she's a great character.
Awesome.
She reunites her people with the other her people, you know?
Yeah.
The time period is amazing. The visuals are great. The powers that she gets from the Tesseract being in a different place, you know? Now I want Kahori in everything.
But now she is the Tesseract.
Right. Kind of. She's got the powers of the Tesseract. Mm-hmm. Did she absorb it? I don't remember too much there.
Well, she
can control
goes
it
into it.
Yeah, and she controls it like crazy, right? More than anyone else has been able to, because this episode dealt with a lot of one dimension and another dimension stacked, kind of like the quantum realm, and how they kind of talked about it's adjacent, right?
Yeah.
That's what I felt like this episode was kind of touching on, because there's more than one realm out there. There's more than one dimension out there. This dealt with a bunch of them. I liked the villains. I thought they were really solid. The time period, again, like I said, was awesome. And Kahori's just badass. Really cool. And the visuals in this episode, everything about this episode, I remember it ending and I just said, I need more.
I want more.
So that's my take on that. This episode for me was a 9.
Give me more. Mm-hmm. Give me more right now.
Right now.
RN.
But yeah, like I said, 9 for me.
Yeah.
I could talk an hour about this episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. A 9.5.
Wow.
9.5.
Out of
almost
9.5.
a perfect episode. Almost.
Yeah, no, it was almost perfect. I can't say there was anything wrong with it.
There was nothing.
Except it wasn't enough.
There was nothing that I would change about this story.
Except adding more. But also, if they added more, it probably wouldn't have been as good, you know?
Yeah.
It did what it was supposed to.
It was a 9.5. I want to see live action, too.
I'm afraid of that, but yes.
But I want to see the more in depth of who she is, what she is, what her power and obviously we see what her powers are, but I want to see like you asked, is the Tesseract in her?
Mm-hmm.
Did she become the Tesseract?
Yeah.
Did she absorb it?
Because there's lots of powers that comes with that, right? And we've seen them all throughout the MCU.
Well, put it this way: you have Wanda. Her powers come from the Mind Stone.
The Mind Store.
The Mind Store, but she doesn't really have the exact powers that you can do with the Mind Stone.
At least not yet.
Yeah,
not
that we know of.
Yeah.
Who else?
Because she only got more and more powerful as the movies went on.
Right.
So.
Who else got powers from
Vision?
Vision is just Vision.
Yeah.
He don't really do Mind Stone
he shoots
stuff.
Beams out of the Mind Stone.
Yeah. Who else? I feel like someone else got powers.
The Aether. What's her face?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
She got her powers from the Tesseract as well.
Yeah. So
she got blasted by the Tesseract.
She didn't absorb it. So
exactly.
And Captain Marvel's apparently the most powerful being in Marvel.
So does that make Kahori the most powerful Marvel character now?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just want to see more of this character. It's someone I don't know a lot about. I don't know any comic references, anything like that. So this episode was...
I don't think there is any comic
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know anything about this character.
It's fresh.
It's fresh. That's what we need, Marvel.
Come bust a move where the games are played. It's cool. It's fresh. It's Noah's Arcade. I had to do it. All right.
Next episode.
So let's move on before we talk about it way too much. The next episode, 9.5.
9.5 for Kahori.
Yeah. All right. Next episode is episode 7. What if Hela found the 10 rings?
My least favorite episode in the season. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Hela flipped too quick. She flipped like crazy. I hated all the interactions with her and what's his name with the 10 rings? I can't remember.
The Mandarin?
Yeah. I guess that's what we can call him, right? I hated all her interactions with them. Their interactions together, like they're like, "Oh, we're in love, ha ha ha!" Psych, it's a trap.
Yeah.
Didn't like any of that. I'm trying to remember what happens. Yeah, and then
she goes through this training montage.
The training montage is so dumb, like so overplayed for me. We don't need a training montage in Marvel movies. And if you're gonna do one, you can do it better.
Right.
It was a lot of just the Shang-Chi movie again.
And Thor.
And then I also just didn't like Odin. Like at all. And I guess you're not supposed to.
Yeah, but like that's not Odin though.
But yeah, it is, but it isn't, right? It's Odin in like real mythology, not Marvel mythology.
Sure.
But my biggest thing is that they tried to make it all like Hela is not evil. She was just treated poorly the entire time.
She was forced to be weapon.
And then it all flips around at the end, and now her suit's white and her helmet's back, and she can wield the spear and all this other stuff.
She is Odin.
Now she is, technically Odin, and now she can wield the rings and like all this stuff. I don't know, dude. It just was a mess. And then what came of it? You know what I mean? What happened after that?
Nothing. Don't care.
A lot of it was just how Hela was portrayed. Seemed too like she was too flirty at times. She was too like childish in other times. She didn't seem menacing or scary like she did in Thor. You know, like I loved her in Thor. I thought she was a great villain.
Yeah.
But didn't think she was a great villain or a hero in this episode. It took me 2 times to watch this episode.
Yeah.
I turned it off one night and just said, I don't want to finish it. And I went to bed. So
Shut it down,
went to bed.
Go to bed.
So this episode for me is a 4.
4. Yeah. Yeah. I rate it pretty low too. Because it was just not all there. Like you said, it was messy. It was just like I felt like there was no point.
It felt like 3 different plots in one episode of a show, and they didn't come together.
No, it didn't feel like 3 different plots. It was 3 different plots.
Yeah, because it's the story with Odin, the story with the Mandarin, the story in the one realm that Shang-Chi's mom's from. I don't remember.
Then it was a
called.
redemption story.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
Hela caused Ragnarok. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's Hela.
Yeah.
But also, could we just be like whining about it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel. It didn't feel cohesive at all.
Just to disagree with you, I'm gonna go with a 3. It was my least favorite.
Yeah,
I don't think you'll argue with that.
No.
We
don't have to agree on these things.
Right. The next episode on our list is episode 8, What If Season 2. What if the Avengers assembled in 1602?
This might be one of my favorite episodes in the season.
Pretty close.
I've always loved this like time period for Marvel, like this dimension or alternate universe. I remember buying a bunch of Spider-Man 1602 comics back in the day. And it's just such a weird and crazy world. And I think everyone was portrayed pretty well in this, and it felt great. I really, really enjoyed Steve Rogers and his merry men.
Yeah.
Like he's Robin Hood in this, right? Thor's a douche.
Right. Big old douche.
It's fine.
Huge douche.
And then I really liked, I just liked this episode. I think the time period, again, is fresh. Like, we haven't seen anything like this. It reminds me of the zombie episode in the season 1, where you're just like, we have not seen this before in a show, in a movie, in anything. Loki being Shakespeare, pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty, and on par,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think all the characters were great. I was really, really hoping we were going to see Spider-Man. There were a couple times where they mentioned something, and like the whole lead up of who the Forerunner is what they call it. The first person to come to the dimension that didn't belong, who's ripping the dimension apart. I really thought it was going to be Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't want it to be Steve, and then it turned out to be Steve, and I was like, fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Steve.
Always about Steve and Peggy.
Which makes sense because he is the Steve that left Endgame.
Yeah.
He looks like him. He acts like him.
I mean, there's a chance it's him.
Yeah.
That's what we're going for, right?
No, I don't think I will.
But the one thing we didn't like about this episode, Hulk Hogan. So
they bring back Hulk Hogan. Happy Hogan's Hulk.
And everyone knows in this that he's the
Hulk.
because
he's like trying to hold it back. He's
like oh, don't make him mad. Ant-Man in this, by the way, fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then when he cuts the feather off of Hulk Hogan's hat, and he's like, "Oh, you did it now. You made him mad."
Awesome.
That fight's great. All the fights in this episode are great. The time period again just sets the mood and the zone. I just love it.
That just makes me confused about the Hulk Hogan situation.
Right.
Is that Happy's
destiny?
Yeah. Is it inevitable that we're gonna get that?
I don't know.
Because if you really think about like what they set up with time, right? You have like the indefinite, inevitable timelines. What is it called?
The canon events?
The canon events? Was there another word for it at all?
What in the
like
Marvel?
Let's say Tony Stark's death is
a canon event.
Spoiler alert. A canon event?
So I'm just basing it off of Spider-Man.
So like, for instance, Thor's Thor, canon event.
It's like it's like an inevitability, like it's always that a canon event.
Yeah,
that's the best way to describe it.
No matter what timeline, Wanda is a witch. No matter what timeline, Thor's Thor, whether he's a douche or is a hero or silly.
Male, female, frog,
Right.
Throg.
So like is
that gonna happen?
Is that gonna happen? Is that inevitable?
I don't know if
is that what they're trying to tell us?
I don't know if that's ever gonna come to fruition in live action. So
I don't like it if it does.
I don't either. But this episode, honestly, dude, was like really solid.
Imagine they did this instead of Red Hulk.
They won't. And if they do, that's the end.
I'm
done. Telling you.
We're done. Wiping my hands clean.
I'm gonna start watching DC.
You're gonna start watching what?
DC.
Yeah, baby. Anyways,
all right. So
cool.
For me, this episode's an 8. Not as good as Kahori, but I would rewatch it.
Yeah,
easily.
Agreed. 8.5.
Yeah. 0.5. Yeah.
And then at the end of this episode, they bring in Doctor Strange, who, well, Peggy's sitting there. She's like lost. She doesn't know what she's gonna do. She's stuck in this timeline. In comes Doctor Strange.
Strange Supreme.
Or
is that what his name is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With the tomatoes and the sour cream and because
oh my god,
you know Taco Supremes.
Oh my god,
this is the joke. Okay.
Yuck. All right, so in comes Strange Supreme. End of the episode. Then we get to the next episode, episode 9 of What If Season 2.
The finale.
The season finale is what if Strange Supreme intervened?
And he did.
Oh, he sure did.
So if we remember from season 1, Doctor Strange tried his best to save his girlfriend.
He got a hold of the Darkhold.
He started like sucking in the powers and abilities of all these beings.
And the demons.
So he became pretty evil. But then it seemed like he kind of had a redemption moment. And he thought, he tried to fix the multiverse, right? When Killmonger and Ultron and all thems. Also, Killmonger... Yeah, no, that's this episode. Never mind. I was like, Killmonger shows up in this one? Yeah, this episode.
Yeah, this episode.
But he seemed to have a redemption, where he realized the error of his ways. Nope. Nope, it was a lie. He just lied straight to the watcher.
But I feel like they set that up
just in case.
They set that up beforehand. So they set it up for the redemption story. And then we see him again. We're like, oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's got all the good intentions.
Yeah, and like his story seemed not believable in the slightest. I didn't believe him one bit.
No?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah. He still looked evil, man.
Well, he's holding all those demons inside him.
Yeah, everyone's got demons inside. You just don't go looking evil.
You see these bags? Demons.
Demons.
That's what he looked like, all right?
But as soon as he started telling his plan, I knew exactly who he was talking about.
Kahori?
Yeah.
I didn't.
No?
No, I was a little confused. I was like, who's it going to be?
Kahori.
I honestly did not think Kahori at all. I didn't think that at all. I thought Wanda, or I thought when I got there and I saw the blue streaks, still didn't think Kahori.
No?
I thought Quicksilver.
I don't know if he would be able to hold back Strange.
That wouldn't make sense.
Right.
But it's just what I thought.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
But he sends Peggy in because he apparently can't get close to her. And immediately Kahori finds Peggy. They start chatting. Peggy's like, oh,
you're the one.
Strange. But then they talk and it's like, Strange is bad. Cool. We figured it out real quick. Just like that. Just one snap. They were just like, we figured it out.
But I like how they gave the benefit of the doubt for Strange.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like Peggy's
makes
like,
sense.
I don't know what to do. And you're like, what's she gonna do?
But then I'm over here like, don't kill Kahori.
Yeah. So, moving forward, Kahori and Peggy team up.
Badass fight.
The only way she can release Kahori from Strange is to release
all the
enemies that Strange has collected.
Yeah, because we didn't mention that. He was collecting anyone who basically, what he says is like anyone
who
that
can stop him.
But what he says is like anyone that messes up the timelines, right? So blah, blah, blah. That's what his goal is. Lying. He's taking any powerful being so he can technically take their powers from them, right? Like take their powers like he did with all the demons and everything. So yeah, Peggy releases a bunch of them.
All of them.
Yeah, and it's freaking wild. Like the fights in this, the visuals, we get Killmonger, like I said. The
and
sequence.
Then Peggy gets the suit with the Infinity Stones.
And just, you're done, dude.
Dunzo.
Because Peggy's got heart.
She's got soul.
She's got the rhythm.
She's got the moves.
She'll fuck you up, man. Peggy's a badass. We like
moves are
Peggy.
weak.
She moves are weak. Peggy's a badass, and we know it. She didn't need the stones to be more of a badass, but god dang it, she was a badass.
If I couldn't see that all the time, I mean, I can't see it all the time, but if I could see that all the time, I would. I would see it all the time.
But I also want to point out that there was the hallway, like the red room, not the red room, but like the zombies come back from season, you know. So Strange kept the zombies.
Yeah.
Weird.
All of them.
Yeah.
Very weird.
That fight was pretty interesting. So the zombies came back, and we were all speculating that they were gonna come back.
I thought they were gonna have their own episode,
right,
and I was like, "How are they gonna do that?"
That story was really fun.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Here we are.
This episode was really good, but I don't think it had as much like oomph as the season finale for season 1.
I don't know about that, dude.
No,
because she starts fighting Strange. Let's fast forward a little bit. Her and Kahori start fighting Strange, and they're trying to figure out how to stop him. I think the way that they upped the stakes a little bit and like kind of created anxiety within the watcher, myself, of like, oh my god, they're trying to do this now. They're gonna fight Strange, and Strange is getting a one up on them.
Yeah, and then it doesn't work, and then it doesn't, and then it doesn't, and then it doesn't, and yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But my only issue is this is with any character that wields the stones. Why is there no learning curve?
Right.
I
think it's just because the stones do what you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
But
the
also
stones pick themselves, you know what I mean? Like
I think so. I think that whatever you will the stones to do, they will do, you know? But also, how did Peggy know about the stones? When did she get sucked out of her world?
Right.
Well,
she saw the stones when they fought Ultron.
True. I guess, yeah, I forgot that part. It just doesn't... The stones mean more to us as viewers than they do to her because
she's only seen them once.
Yeah. So we're all like, oh, badass. And then Peggy's just like, these are a weapon.
She saw it. She saw the stones in a more intense way, though, because Ultron was actually actively taking over the universe. So that was just strange, you know?
Well, it's not. It's Ultron.
It's
I did love this finale, though. I think it was really solid.
Well, it kept me at the edge of my seat, and then when the people were falling, and then they got back up and fall and up, and then they fell, and finally they were gonna go and hit the thing, and then fucking Hela throws her helmet, and then all of a sudden Thor throws his hammer, and then that other green guy, I don't know who that is, he throws his sword, and then what else? So the Mandarin throws his 10 rings, and then Odin throws his spear, and then
No, and then.
And then someone throws their whip.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, when that happened, I literally audibly said, oh, shit. I was at the edge of my seat, dude. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And not only did I say, oh, shit, I lost my shit when Kahori picked up the hammer.
Yeah.
She was holding the hammer with her powers.
Mm-hmm.
With the powers.
Mm-hmm. Which is, this is like one of the first people we've seen use those powers for good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like truly.
Yeah.
Since Captain Marvel, but it's different. I think
Right.
it's different because
Right.
it's like she got blasted with it. She doesn't have the. Anyways, no, dude. I think the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, no, that episode was fucking just so good.
It was insane.
I need to watch it again.
Another setback for me though.
Mm-hmm. Just hella. No, I'm just
still,
kidding.
Still really cool.
Yeah.
Like honestly, probably one of the best parts of the whole episode, but don't make no sense. It don't make no sense when Peggy runs, she jumps. Kahori throws her the stones. She grabs all the stones in her hand and punches Strange Supreme. How'd she hold all the stones barehanded?
I don't know.
Peter Quill is a half god. He could only hold one. How is she holding all 6 stones in her hand? She is still technically human. Sure. Does she have the super soldier serum?
Yeah.
Sure.
Is she worthy enough to hold Thor's hammer? Probably.
Sure. But can she hold all 6 stones? Riddle me that, Batman.
I cannot. No, that's something to
great
ponder on.
episode, 9.5.
Yeah, no, solid.
I give it a 9.5 as well.
I think that's solid. I think that's a solid place to give it. So I'm gonna give it a 9.
Agree to disagree.
We just don't have to agree. But you know, solid episode. I still really liked Kahori's episode solo. Like that episode had a lot of what I was looking for and something refreshing from Marvel.
A lot of heart.
This episode felt like Marvel. You know what I mean? And not necessarily in bad ways, which was a breath of fresh air as well. But the show as a whole, it's still like I can rewatch it. But let me tell you how many shows on Disney I've rewatched. None of them. I've tried to rewatch all of them, and I just haven't been able to. You know, maybe someday. My mic is falling again.
I want to rewatch Hawkeye.
I started rewatching that.
Did you?
Got 2 episodes in and turned it off.
Ugh.
But that's our wrap up of What If Season 2. I think. Are you tired?
No,
Are you out of energy?
I thought you weren't done.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were gonna speak.
Sorry.
Speak. Fuck. Thanks.
Frick.
We've had so many just memes today, just jokes. But yeah, that was our roundup. Our little let's talk about What If Season 2. We haven't talked about movies or TV shows.
Let's talk about sex.
No,
baby.
let's talk about.
Let's talk about Marvel, baby. Let's talk about Season 2.
There you go.
Let's talk about all the good guys and the bad guys that came through.
There you go.
Let's talk about Marvel.
What if
Season 2? Season 2.
Streaming specifically on Disney Plus.
This is not a sponsor or an ad.
But Disney, if you're out there,
make better movies. That's all I gotta say.
But let us know down in the comments below. Let us know down below in the comments what you thought of What If
Season 2.
If you watched it. If you didn't, tell us why you didn't. If your reason is that you don't have Disney Plus,
get it.
But there's also a ton of people out there, and they really don't stop you from sharing your password like Netflix does.
Yeah.
Shout out to Netflix for being terrible.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Well, Thank you for listening to BJ in the Morning.
Be sure to drop us follows, subscribes, all those things, but mainly follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch at
BJ in the Morning _.
And then while you're on YouTube, be sure to hit subscribe, hit the bell,
Ring that bell,
like the videos,
like it,
and you can find us on YouTube at
BJ in the Morning Podcast.
And that's it right now. That's all the social medias that we're plugging. That's all the social medias that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But thanks so much for listening to this super packed episode of BJ in the Morning. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Juan.
And we
will talk to you next time.